Following the discussion on conflicts of interest, it is essential to examine one of the most practical and consistently tested fiduciary duties in Arizona real estate law: the duty to exercise reasonable skill and care. This duty serves as the professional standard that ensures licensees perform their services competently, truthfully, and with an appropriate level of expertise, particularly when guiding clients toward reliable sources for information about material issues in a transaction. Reasonable skill and care require a balance between the agent's professional judgment and their recognition of when a matter exceeds their area of competence. The Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, through Commissioner's Rule R4-28-1101A, mandates that every licensee must protect and promote the interests of their client while dealing fairly with all other parties. Embedded within this rule is the duty to use reasonable skill and care, which encompasses the obligation to identify material facts affecting the property and ensure clients have access to accurate and complete information. The rule is further clarified in R4-28-1101K, which specifically states that when a matter arises that is beyond the expertise of a real estate licensee, the agent must recommend that the client seek the assistance of a qualified professional. This duty is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing when and where to direct the client for accurate information. A material item is any condition, issue, or fact that could affect the client's decision to buy, sell, or lease a property. Examples include property boundaries, structural conditions, soil stability, flood zones, roof age, termite damage, or legal encumbrances. If a licensee lacks the technical knowledge to evaluate one of these issues, they must advise the client to obtain additional research or consultation from professionals, such as home inspectors, surveyors, attorneys, or engineers. Failure to do so may constitute negligence or unprofessional conduct under ARS Section 322153A3. Consider an example. A buyer asks their agent whether a property's septic system meets county health standards. Instead of speculating or offering a personal opinion, the agent should advise the buyer to contact the county environmental health department or a licensed septic inspector. The agent may provide contact information for those professionals, but must not attempt to interpret test results or make assurances about the system's compliance. This is the essence of reasonable skill and care. The agent's responsibility lies not in having every answer, but in guiding the client to accurate and authoritative sources. Another example might involve an agent showing a home near a dry riverbed in Pima County. The buyer expresses concern about flooding, and the agent suspects that the area might fall within a FEMA-designated flood zone. Rather than assuming or making guarantees, the agent should refer the client to the Arizona Department of Water Resources, ADWR, or the County Flood Control District to confirm. This action demonstrates compliance with both R4-28-1101A and R4-28-1101K, as the agent exercised reasonable care by ensuring the client was directed to the proper authority. Arizona case law reinforces this standard. In Lombardo v. Albu, 1996, the Arizona Court of Appeals ruled that while agents are not expected to possess the expertise of engineers or appraisers, they are required to act with the care and competence of a reasonable professional in the same circumstances. This includes recognizing when a matter is beyond their expertise and advising clients accordingly. The court further emphasized that agents cannot ignore material facts or mislead clients through omission. Similarly, Hill v. Jones, 1986, reaffirmed the duty to disclose material conditions known to the agent, such as termite damage, and held that failing to do so violates the principle of fair dealing and reasonable care. This duty extends beyond disclosure. It also includes diligence in verifying information that is publicly available or reasonably accessible. For example, when a client asks about zoning, school districts, or future road projects, a licensee should provide the appropriate governmental contact information or refer them to public records rather than offering assumptions. Reasonable skill and care require the agent to remain within the scope of their professional expertise and to document these referrals for compliance and protection. Many brokers encourage their agents to include notes in transaction files, showing when and how clients were referred to outside professionals. This not only fulfills the agent's legal obligations, but also provides evidence of compliance should the transaction be audited by ADRE. Another critical aspect of reasonable skill and care involves ensuring that clients understand the implications of deadlines, contingencies, and contractual obligations under ARS Section 32-215, 1.01, and R4 28-1103. Brokers must maintain transaction records that reflect all communications, timelines, and disclosures. This record keeping demonstrates that the agent has acted diligently and responsibly throughout the process. When a client is required to perform an inspection or deliver earnest money, the agent's role is to track those obligations and remind the client in writing to comply within the contract timeframe. Failure to do so can result in the client losing important rights and may expose the agent to liability for negligence. In addition to referring clients to appropriate professionals, reasonable skill and care also demand that agents verify the accuracy of information they provide. For instance, if an agent lists square footage from county assessor records, they should disclose the source and encourage the buyer to verify measurements if accuracy is crucial. Overstating property features or relying on unverified data can constitute misrepresentation, even if unintentional. Ultimately, reasonable skill and care define the professional standard that distinguishes competent licensees from negligent ones. The duty requires diligence, accuracy, and humility. The understanding that referring a client to a qualified expert is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of integrity and professionalism. Review summary. The duty of reasonable skill and care, established under R4-28-1101A and reinforced by R4-28-1101K, ensures that licensees act competently and responsibly. In representing clients, agents must identify material facts, provide accurate information, and direct clients to appropriate resources when matters exceed their expertise. Failure to do so can constitute negligence under ARS Section 322153A3. Landmark cases such as Lombardo v. Albu and Hill v. Jones demonstrate how courts expect agents to balance diligence with professional boundaries. Reasonable skill and care are not about knowing everything. They are about knowing when to seek or recommend the right help. Discussion. Why is referring clients to outside professionals an important part of exercising reasonable skill and care? Answer. Because it ensures that clients receive accurate and reliable information from qualified experts, protecting both the client and the agent from liability. What statute or rule requires licensees to recommend professional assistance when matters exceed their knowledge? Answer. Commissioner's Rule R4-28-1101K requires licensees to direct clients to appropriate professionals when an issue arises beyond their expertise. How does the Lombardo v. Albu case relate to this duty? Answer. It clarified that agents are expected to act with the care of a reasonable professional and must recognize when to refer clients for further evaluation. Closing remarks. The duty of reasonable skill and care represents the heart of professional responsibility in real estate. It reinforces that a competent agent does not have to know everything, but must know where to find reliable information and when to involve experts. By referring clients to appropriate resources, documenting those referrals, and maintaining honesty throughout the process, Arizona licensees uphold the highest standards of ethical practice and public trust. This approach not only protects the client, but also safeguards the licensee's reputation and compliance with state law.